Warning, the following footage may induce seizures, so if you have epilepsy, so just fuck off, mate. Just fuck off. So, now that we're all done resenting those which begrudgingly call our relatives and celebrating the joys of gluttony and capitalism, we can now get back to business with the topic you've all been requesting for weeks now. Cheap indie games on Steam. It's no secret at this point that the AAA industry is poised to collapse in on itself by the sheer weight of its own anti-consumerist bullshit, and Konami. But worry not, lowly peasants, for I am here to guide you down the path of righteousness. For why would you pay $500 for a console you'll never use and $160 for two games that critics around the world are calling alright, I guess, when you can pay the same money for a low-end computer, which may be used to do your taxes along with other recreational activities, and have the ability to own literally infinite games. Indeed, the glorious master race is glorious. But seriously though, I've built up a whopping great collection of games I bought on sale and have never really played, so I'm gonna make a series of videos of them to try and get me money's worth. And this series I shall be naming The Steam Wastelands, which is in no way related to a YouTube review series that is really hard to make, so I'm giving up on it. First on the list is Bloodbath Kavkaz, which is a Russian game, and here's a funny thing about the Russian language. There is actually no translation for the word copyright. See? It's just a bunch of random squiggles. No one can make anything of that. What, don't believe me? Well, it's actually very subtle. I don't think you'll be able to spot it, but it's Hotline Miami. It's just Hotline Miami. You can't even squint it and think, oh, no, it's taking influences from Rocket League. No, it's fucking Hotline Miami. Well, even a rip-off can have something new to offer, so let's take a look at the story. So after a strange prologue in a dark room, a shadowy figure asks you to kill a bunch of random people for no definable reason. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's ripping off more than a beautician with OCD. Nothing about this is original. I mean, it's got a few bits and bobs here and there, like the slow-mo mechanic, which really isn't that original a concept, and that action hero trolley riding thing, which only worked once, then it completely bugged out and didn't work again. And of course, Hotline Miami wasn't put together using fucking MS Paint. And anything that isn't different is just done worse. For instance, the gameplay in Hotline was sleek, silky, and buttery smooth, but in Notline Miami, it's more like shoving an entire knob of butter down your throat. And of course it doesn't help that there's no controller support. It's fucking bullshit! And even if it's not as overt, it's the little things like how the face avatars are just normal drawings as opposed to fucked up caricatures, which was symbolic of a crazy man's gross and fucked up view of the world. Or just the fact that he was living in California. Or how in the original the flashy lights and synth pop continually added to the idea that you're drugged up, insane, and not really understanding what you're doing or why. However, Big Bath and a Cat's Ass somehow translated that to, oh my god, what am I looking at? What's going on? I'm in Hawaii now. Why am I in Hawaii? Is this how Russia views the rest of the world? So much of this game just feels so wrong, and not in a good way. This is just cheap and fake. It's like a Chinese iPhone or a knockoff animated film trying to cash in on the original success. So in the end, I'd rate Bollocks 8 Carpet Munchers a fuck this game, buy Hotline Miami out of 10. But moving on from the violent MS Paint pixel splatterfest, we will now look at the natural thematic equivalent, Morphopolysis. Yeah, I already made fun of the last one's weird name, I'm not doing it again. Now, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing that I am. Oh my god, this game is so pretty and colourful. It's like Vincent van Gogh is jizzing rainbows directly into my eye sockets. Or something along those lines. But it's one thing to say that a game is pretty, it's another thing entirely to say that it's fun. Or has a story. Or any recognisable enjoyment value whatsoever. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, the story is, you play as an insect. That's it. The game is just your life and progression as an insect. Of course, this is one of those things that's meant to be interpreted, which, you know, I'm game. I'm all for over-interpreting things, so let's give this a shot. So, as you can see, the cricket ascending the tree branch is a symbol for the eternal struggle of the games developer who wanted an arts major, but his parents forced him to go into IT and programming. Seriously though, games like these make me think of that ever-continuing debate of when is a game not a game? Of course, to that I say, if you can press buttons and make things happen on a glowing wall, of course it's a fucking game! Although, it doesn't really help that this is just so fucking slow. It's also not helpful that the central gameplay mechanic is basically a smeging hidden object game me mum usually plays. Which, seeing as you're basically staring at a glorified portrait, Where's Wally is probably the best you're gonna get. Besides having some little puzzle mini games to help break up the monotony. But even after all this, would I recommend it? Well, for the price, I'd say it's worth a burl. Just make sure you got screen capture on standby. Get some good wallpapers out of it. So, I'd rate this game a momentary existential thought to distract from the turbulence of day-to-day life. Out of 10.